Hello, this is Tim Perfect from Twocanoes Software, and I want to show you some of the really exciting new things that we have for MDS3. MDS3 or MDS is kind of morphing into more of a server product. It's now I'm referring to it as Mac Deploy Server. It not only does workflows, but now it also runs services in the background as a full web server hosting for both deploying disk image or DMGs or macOS installers, as well as hosting other services like Munki or MunkiReport or MicroMDM. So I'm going to walk you through kind of the new setup because it's kind of a lot of work we put into getting it set up. My setup here is I have a T2 Mac Mini that is a 2018 Mac Mini that people might be using for a caching server. Show you how to set that up as an MDS server, and it's been freshly Catalina installed. So I'll kind of be walking you through it. The thing I'm going to be setting up is I have a 2014 Mac Mini, just because it's easier screen share, but it could be any Mac that's going to be deployed. So it could be laptops or desktops or whatever. So I'll be walking through the process of setting up MDS on a new machine, and then going through and showing you how to deploy a client. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go and I'll just download MDS. And I'll get the current pre-beta. I'll mount this. And I'll install it. Okay, it's been installed. It will prompt me to put it in the trash. I don't want to do that because in documentation there is some sample scripts that I'm going to need to save. So I'll drag those to the desktop for use later. You, of course, would use your own scripts, but I think it would be great to show the sample scripts as well. So now that it's been downloaded and installed, let me go ahead and launch it. Oops. I have to type my own software, right? Okay, so the first thing it does, it prompts you for create Ssl certificate. So an Ssl certificate is used to secure all the communications. If you have a Ssl certificate that's issued by your organization or by a well-known certificate authority, I recommend you use that. But if you don't, a self-signed certificate works fine, and all the services, we trust it on the client so it can use all the services. So I'll click on create certificate, and it jumps to the security section. And the host name of this server is miniserver.local, and that was set up in sharing here. There we go. You can see that it is strange, kind of weird background, but anyways, it's set up as miniserver, and it's miniserver.local. And I have screen sharing and remote login turned on. So that's great setup for this server. And now what we want to do is create self-signed certificate. We verify the host name is correct, and I'll save it. Now it's important to save it not in a location that's protected by TCC or the new prompting private controls. So I usually like to do it at the root of my home directory, and I'll create a directory called SSL, and I'll go ahead and save it in that. So it's done. For communicating with services locally here, we do need to trust that certificate. So I will copy this command, open up terminal, and paste that in. And now that certificate is trusted in the root keychain. So now it's all set up. SSL is all set up for all the different services on the machine. So looking at the new UI, you can see that it's very much looks more like a server app. On the left side, it has all of the different services we have here, some tools, the workflows that we had before, as well as the preferences. So we kind of brought those out to the front. We'll go ahead and set up the services, kind of typical services. I'm not going to do the MDM service today. A lot of people use a third-party MDM, or that configuration of that requires getting a push certificate, which is kind of involved. So I'll have that in another video to cover that. And we have the web service Munki and MunkiReport. So let's go ahead and set up Munki and MunkiReport, and you'll see that web services kind of automatically set itself up. So the first thing is Munki server. If we just go in and if we try to start it, we can't because it's now protected by this lock. So if I click on the lock, just like in system preferences, we can unlock this. Oh, and it prompts you a second time, just that one time to trust the helper tool. And now we can go ahead and turn it on. And when we turn it on, it says, hey, Munki's not installed. Do you want to go install it? And it goes to the Munki latest releases. And then you just go down here, download the package, and we can install it. For Munki, you have to right-click on it and do open, and then request, say it's okay. And then we can continue. And we will install Munki. Once it's completed, it will want to restart as well as delete that package. We want to save that package. Well, I don't think it'll ask to delete it, but we will keep a copy over here just for posterity, or for we'll use later for the client. We'll wait until that comes up. All right, that came up. We'll log in, and it should automatically relaunch MDS. There it is. And so now Munki's up and running. We can see, oh, this is prompting us, do we want to do check for updates automatically? It does that on the second launch. We'll say okay. And now you can see, if we give it a minute, that Munki, or no, sorry, we just installed Munki. We haven't turned the service on yet. So let me go back, turn on the service, and it says no Munki repository found. So we need to create a Munki repository. Let's actually, yeah, that's, I want to be able to write to it from the tools. So let's change this location to that same root in my home directory. That's fine. And we'll call this repo. And I'll open that up and I'll turn it on and have it create the Munki repo. And now when we start, the Munki's repo's been created. We'll hit start to start the web service. And you can see over here on the left, it should turn on and show that the service are running, which it did. So Munki's up and running. We see the web service now has my directory shared out over SSL, and I can click here and actually view it. I don't have directory listings turned on, so if I go into this service and say allow directory listings, that will then allow you to browse the files from the browser. So it's not necessary, but it does. It's a nice way to look and see now. Oh, okay, we can see that listing. You can turn that off. It doesn't really make any difference. So Munki's now been set up, so it was relatively easy to set up. MunkiReport's very similar. If we try and start this service, you'll see that MunkiReport's not installed. So we go to the download page. It goes to a different GitHub page. So now I will download MunkiReport, and it will automatically unzip it. And then I will go into import and import those Munki files. So the web server does need to be stopped because Munki does not just import, or MDS doesn't just import the MunkiReport files, but also archives them and imports a fresh one and then adds the configuration on top of it. So, okay, so I'll select the MunkiReport files, and there it goes, it's imported. And now MunkiReport is up and running, and we can put in a username and password, but we haven't defined that yet. So I added a section in users to allow you to create users in MunkiReport. So I'll just do admin for an admin user. So now we can go in for MunkiReport, and now it's done. So MunkiReport's now set up. You can start registering clients. First thing it does on initial install or upgrade, it has to upgrade the database, and so you'll get this error. Very simple to fix. You just go to the database, click on upgrade, and now the database gets upgraded. And when we go back to MunkiReport, you can see the message goes away and it's up and running. We don't have any clients, but we'll soon have that resolved by setting up a client and registering it. So now MunkiReport's set up, and you can see that Web Services has added the two services for Munki and MunkiReport up for us. And so we can go in and edit those if we wanted to. We can turn on directory listing or something like that. But the important thing is that we can now create our workflow. So if we go into workflows and hit plus, we can start configuring the workflow to deploy the client. One of the things we need is the Mac OS installer, which we don't have on this machine because it's a newly installed one. And there's a tool called Download Mac OS that it goes and looks for Apple's servers. 10.14.4 just dropped yesterday, so I'm going to do 10.15.4 dropped yesterday, so I'll do 10.15.3 just because that one's been tested. And I'll put it into my downloads folder. One of the other features that we have that we had kind of in bits and pieces in MDS2, now we kind of standardize is under window, there's the show log. So whatever service you're on, if you go to show log, it'll open console up and show you that information associated with it. So I'll go ahead and let that download, and then we'll create a workflow, and from there, deploy a client. All right, it's now been completed. The disk image has now been saved to our downloads. So let me look and see. It's under content. Oh no, it's right above here, right here. Mac OS installer. And I'll just go ahead and mount that disk image under applications. I'll grab the install Mac OS Catalina. So now we have that. I could select just the disk image, but for this demo, I'll just drag it out. So now let's get our resources ready for creating the workflows. What I usually like to do is, well, let me create, let me do it at the root of my home directory. There we go, and I'll create, gotta do home, and then new home directory, I like to call this resources. And in there, I'll create a folder called OS, and in there I'll create, or inside the same level, I'll create packages, and then I'll do scripts. So that's kind of the standard configuration. In the packages, I'll add the Munki tools, so that gets installed. The OS, of course, I will add in the Catalina installer. And for scripts, I'll add in some of these. Some of them are like language setup and the hide file menu. I'm going to remove that because I don't like that, but that I'll leave dark mode in, and some of the other configurations for the desktop background, those kind of things. So I'll add those in the scripts. So hopefully all those scripts will get done with the workflow as well. So the resources are now added to that folder. And if I open up MDS, I can now go to workflows. And if I hit plus for the workflows, and I'll call this Catalina with Munki. Oops. Catalina with Munki and MunkiReport. I put an extra space between Munki and MunkiReport and neglected one after and, so I'll move those around. For the OS, that's straightforward. We just select that Mac OS installer that we downloaded. That was in our home directory under resources, OS. Install Mac OS. There is a new feature in MDS3, which is Mac OS installer disk image URL. And that's really convenient because a lot of times your workflows don't need to change, but there's a new Mac OS version. And so what we do is taken that out. So if you take that disk image that we created, put it on a web server, and added the URL there, you can just swap it out with updated ones and without having to change your workflow. So it's super convenient. We do want to erase and install, and we want to rename this to Macintosh HD, which I recently heard is the only place you'll see Macintosh in the interface. Everything else has been changed to Mac. It's kind of interesting. Under resources, the packages and folders, we will select our packages folder. There it is. And it pops over and says Munki tools are going to be installed after Mac OS installation. We could move this around if we want to, but it's fine where it is. For scripts, we want to select that same scripts folder. There we go. And so the scripts will be done, and you can see there's a whole bunch of them, which is kind of nice. We can drag those around, but we don't need to. We're not going to be installing any profiles, so that's good. Under user account, we do want to create a user, so we will call this one. We usually use tcadmin. And for this user, we wanted to make it an administrator, which is great. Now for options, we do want to join Wi-Fi. This is for the client join Wi-Fi, so it'll be the Wi-Fi network once it's been deployed. I tend to name my SSIDs after planets, because that's the one and only correct way to name things. Then the password for the network. I do want to set the computer name. I do usually like to set it like it has that tooltip, not tooltip, the grayed out text that shows it. So I usually like to do serial number. and that will automatically insert the serial number with an M in front of it, and then I'll prompt as well so that you can go ahead and change it if you want to. This is new for MDS3, Trust Server Certificate and System Keychain. That means the client will take the server certificate for the MDS server and trust it in its root keychain, which is very convenient. I will skip the setup, enable location services, and skip user profile. I do want to enable SSH and screen sharing. I don't care about SIP NVRAM for this. And now install the MunkiReport for inventory, and that'll download the installer script from the MunkiReport that we set up. And then we do want to configure the Munki client because we're going to be installing Munki. So we'll click on Configure Client. Because Munki's running on the server, it automatically grabs the URL. You can see that the Trust Munki TLS certificate, we don't need to select because we're trusting the server certificate. This is really for if you're hosting Munki on a separate server, you would put that in and you could trust that certificate if that one was self-signed. But for us, we just select Configure Client, put in the URL, and we're good to go. Variables, we're not going to define any. Our scripts don't need any variables currently. All right, so now the workflow has been set up, and let's look at a couple of options to be able to, when we run the workflow. So the same SSID, so because I am sheltering at home, my SSID and the client are going to be deployed in the same location. And password. And then I don't want to automatically run the workflow. You can automatically have it run, so you don't have to stick around and watch it. I'm going to be prompt for computer name anyway, so I got to be in front of it. And I don't want it to have selected target automatically. So that's done. So now what we want to do is we have two options. We can save it to a disk image, or we can save it to a volume. So what I like to do is in the web services, you can see that we can define specific arbitrary websites to do it. So let's set one up for sharing a disk image so we can mount that in recovery and use that to restore. So we have to unlock it first. And I'll hit plus. And I usually like to share this in the share, and I'll make a new folder called web. And we will enable directory listings. We don't want to use SSL because HDIUtil in the recovery partition does not do SSL for self-signed certificates. So we'll leave it not using SSL. So now when we go back to workflows and we want to save the disk image, I can save it to that web folder, and now we can do it, and it opens that up. And so I will call this, I like to do something short because I'll do cat.dmg because we have to type it. So we'll do save that. And this is also new for MDS3. It'll download the resources and not prompt you to save the workflow separately. It'll just do it automatically and then continue onwards. All right, this disk image has been saved successfully. We can actually look and see if it's where it is in the web server. So we just go over here and click on the little arrow. It'll open up there, and we can see cat.dmg is there, and it's 7.8 gigs. So there it is. It's being hosted. And now if we go back to workflows and we do save to volume, we can now save it to an SSD and deploy it that way instead of mounting it from a web server. So it's faster, but then you have to have that thumb drive. And so I have a partition called MDS that I normally save my MDS workflows to. The nice thing about it, it already has some of the resources on it. So MDS is smart enough to know to only update the things that it needs. So that's been updated. So now we're all done. So now we can go to the client. And what we're hoping to do is boot to recovery, run a simple command. Workflow selectors will allow us to select the workflow, and then it'll do all the setup, and we'll have a fully configured machine. And it'll be registered with Munki for a self-service portal and for package management, and also for MunkiReport for doing inventory and also monitoring any packages that are installed. So that all happens kind of configured for you. So let me move over to the Mac Mini that we're going to be configuring for as the client. Okay, I'm holding down the Option key on the keyboard, so I will get up to the boot selector. And we're not going to boot externally, even though this drive allows us to do that. We don't need that. So I will just do Command R to boot into a recovery partition. And from there, we'll kick it off. All right, we're now at the recovery partition, so I'll go ahead and open up the terminal and kick off the workflow. And so it's a very simple command, /volumes, MDS. All right, so plugged in the drive, and I did /volume/MDS/run. We can automate this all with the MDS automaton, but for this one, for my first initial test, and for this video, I'm not going to show that. But it's going and configuring the network. Oh, it does try. Oh, I guess I did the wrong. Path. Oh no, it's coming up. There it goes. I said to wait. It does retry. So the Mac Mini has EN0 as the Ethernet and EN1 as Wi-Fi. So that one is. It did check both of them and try to configure both. So it did come up. The new thing you can see on the left on my left over here is the new log window that comes up. So you can keep status really easily. And the workflow selector comes up. This, of course, can be run automatically if you want to, but we'll manually select it. These are the only workflow. So I'll click on Run Workflow. It'll say, are you sure you want to do that? I'll say, sure. As we set up, it prompts me for the computer name, which is great. So verify that. Now I click on Run Workflow. And what that'll do is it will do all the steps that we outline in Workflow, and it'll enroll in MunkiReport and also be managed by Munki. So it's a great... an easy way to set it up. So when this finishes, I'll come back and talk a bit about or show how the client has been configured. All right, the client has now been set up. You can see that the usage policy is showing, so we know that our scripts ran and did that. So we'll accept the policy, and hopefully we'll get prompted to log in, and we will use the user account, tcadmin, which was created. Let me go ahead and sign in. And what we're looking for is to see that it connected up to Wi-Fi, as well as did the customization, the dock and the background pattern and those kind of things. All right, we've now logged in, and we have the desktop that is the has customized as we want to, and the dock is over on the left side, which is nice. And then we are in dark mode as well, so we know that those settings got applied. And look to see if the Munki Managed Software Center was installed for our Ssl Service Portable. This keyboard, I have a third-party keyboard, so that's not part of the setup. Normally, if you had a Mac keyboard, it would be fine. Okay. I'm in Applications, so I can see there's Managed Software Center right here. So I know that Munki did get installed. It should have been configured. We don't really have anything to show yet, so I'll look back on the server. Okay, now we connect up and check to make sure that MunkiReport has actually been installed or enrolled. So we will go to miniserver.local:8881. And we'll put in admin credentials. So it allows us to log in, and we can see that this client has been enrolled. And it has, this client is here. Here's our serial number, 1HV. If we go here, we can see it has 4 gigs of RAM. Serial number ends with 1HV. So if I go to About This Mac, we can see that it indeed has 4 gigs of RAM, and the serial number ends... there it is, 1HV. So yeah, so that one's enrolled with Munki Server. So that's great. So let's go ahead and configure Munki to push out some software to this. And so instead of switching back to the server, I'll just do a connect to server, and I'll put in the credentials. Type it correctly, log in to the server, and then I should see MDS running, which it is. It doesn't have to be running. Of course, the service can be run in the background as well. And since we already have Munki set up, the client should already be enrolled. So if we go up to the Tools menu and select MunkiAdmin. MunkiAdmin hasn't been installed yet. It's a graphical utility that allows you to administer Munki. So let me go ahead and download and install that. Okay. Go ahead and copy this, and I will paste it into the applications folder. So now you should see Munki admins there. There it is. So I'll close these. That's been installed. Now when we go to this menu, Tools, Open Munki admin, it'll say it's the first time it's opening. Go ahead and open it up. Open that up. It opened up the repo. You should see that we indeed have a site default here. So let's go ahead and make an application available for our clients, the self-service portal. So let's go to Twocanoes.com. We have a new free tool called Recovery Selector. So let me make that available. There it is. And there's me. That's kind of weird, being in the same position with the same lab coat. So let me download this. And there's the package we want to install. So let me move that over. Save that here. And get rid of this. So now we can just drag the Recovery Selector into the Munki admin window, save it. Okay, and I'll select this testing catalog. Inside testing, of course, it has the that application that I brought in. Let me go back to applications. Catalogs. You can see that Recovery Selector is in that catalog. So now we want to make this available through the self-service portal. So we go to optional installs and I hit plus, and I'll do Recovery Selector. Since it's a Twocanoes applications, which are the best applications, I'll add it as a featured. So I'll go ahead and save this, and now that's done. I'll minimize this and we can go back to our client. And I will open up Manage Software Center. Okay, it's been updated. So now if I click on software, you can see that Recovery Selector is available to be installed. It's both there as well as under categories. So now the user can go in and install it. So if I click on install, it'll now update that. So Munki is a great way to be able to keep your packages up to date, as well as make the Managed Software Center for Self-Service Portal available. So now when that's been installed, it should show up in MunkiReport as well that software has been installed. In fact, there it's finished. So now we can go ahead and look. And you can see in applications, we have Recovery Selector is now installed. Let me double click on it. All right, so now Recovery Selector has been installed, and we can go ahead and use the application. So of course that would work for anything, for any applications you want to do. You can target it by machine for automatically installing the applications or what's available. So thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe for more of these videos. MDS is in the final stages of development, so you can go down and download it from our Bitbucket site, and we hope to be releasing it in the next couple of weeks. And I'll put the link in the description below so you can go ahead and link to it and download, as well as go for more information on MDS 2 and 3. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again.